Welcome to r/Reddit Revenge. This is a story of someone getting back at someone with revenge after being wronged. Thank you, friends, for subscribing to the channel and for so many likes. The first story: burglars stole my wife's wallet. After months of collecting evidence, I found the burglar's address and confirmed it. Police arrested the burglar. The second story: Karen complains to HR about me not wearing a bra. I reverse her complaint. Everyone hates Karen and she quits. The third story: solo traveler staying in a hostel with 7 guys was woken up at 4 a.m. by their loud drunk antics. Hostel manager upgraded the traveler to a private room and kicked out the disruptive guys. And the first story: I just wanted to confirm an address. It's not my fault you were playing drunken bumper cars in the parking lot. Background: a couple of months ago, someone broke into my home via the garage and stole my wife's purse from her car in that garage. I'm leaving out specific details beyond that because they are material to both the criminal case, pending, and civil case. I'm getting there. I called the police immediately after the burglary and they weren't interested. Fine, I have a smartphone and credit card notifications on. I told my wife don't cancel the cards. Sure enough, he got gas down the street. I got footage from them. He then went shopping elsewhere. Every time he used a card, we canceled it. We got footage, statements, witnesses, and/or evidence from several different places. I then put it all together and gave it to the cops. Despite this, the police told me it likely still wouldn't go anywhere, and if it does, it would be slow. That's fine. I waited for them to finish their report. Then I did a public records request. This gave me the burglar's name, vehicle, and plate number. I used that to obtain an address online, which may or may not be current. For reference, from start of story to this point is about 3 months. The report was a goldmine. One of the police officers was able to identify the man as having previously been arrested for similar crimes. There's more here I'm leaving out for brevity. Today, that's where the petty and totally accidental revenge begins. I drove by the address and realized it was a condo community. The address wasn't specific enough, so even if he does live here, I need a unit number. Let's start with confirming if the vehicle is at least on the property and go from there. Sure enough, it was, and he was sitting in it drunk off his A, still drinking. The guy in the truck matched the description, but I wanted to confirm the plate. He didn't have his front plate on, legally required but almost never enforced, so I pulled into a nearby spot and wanted to wait him out. Then I'd walk around the back of the vehicle to see the plate. While I'm looking down at my phone and looking to see if there's a main office number for this community, I hear a loud noise. I look up to see that he had pulled forward out of his parking spot and made a hard right into the parking pavilion, if that describes it. He hit a pole and sideswiped a car. He started backing up and making a 20-point turn to wiggle his massive truck into this tiny spot. There's also a beer can on the ground in his former parking spot. I drive around, but behind him, confirm the plate. It's 100% him. Leave the community for the drugstore parking lot on the next block, then call the local cops, not emergency line. The police officer assigned calls me for more details before going. I tell them my sob story and he hooks me up with the burglar's unit number and wishes me the best. I then get to watch through the gate as the police arrive. Guy is still in his truck. He stumbles out, they cuff him, and assist him into their back seat. Not sure what happens next. Really, dude, I just wanted to confirm your address so I could take you to small claims for the SH you stole. I didn't expect your drunk A to be playing bumper cars. Depending on how this shakes out, I may try pro revenge, with all those missing details. Hopefully there's a happy ending, but if there is, it's months away at minimum. But current plan is, later this week call the prosecutor's office. Haven't spoken since mid-November. Want to see if there are plans to move forward, and if I should hold off on a civil case. Not needed if criminal court orders restitution. Or proceed. If given the green light, I'll mail the guy a demand letter. Typical response period is 30 days, but I'll do 45 or 60. I have reasons for wanting to hold this off until March. Call it a scheduling conflict. Unless he agrees to a settlement, take him to small claims court. It's cheap in our country to file. No lawyers allowed, just one-on-one. We'll have a mediation hearing and if no settlement reached, a court appearance. Given his history, I expect a no-show and a default judgment, so I'll have to look into things like wage garnishment, but we're talking 6+ months down the road, so my planning at this point is to save for that later if necessary. Edit: the demand letter will show that I made a good faith attempt to settle without involving the court. I also have 2 months to kill before I can devote time to small claims court, so this sort of fills that void. I mainly just want the mark on him, but this one has a new truck, a residence he's been at for several years, and his wife is gainfully employed. Better odds than most. The lengths that some people go to seek justice can be astounding. Man who had hid his wife's purse stolen from their garage is a perfect example of someone who's not willing to sit back and let the criminal justice system fail him. Despite being turned away by the police, he took matters into his own hands and gathered as much evidence as possible before tracking down the thief's address. What he found was an unexpected drunken spectacle that led to the thief's arrest. While it's unclear what will happen next, the man has a plan to seek compensation through the legal system. Seeking justice through the legal system can be a long and complicated process, but this man's determination is a testament to the power of perseverance. Hopefully his efforts will result in a just outcome and he can find some closure. The second story is, Karen complains to HR about my body. I Uno reverse her complaint. Everyone hates her. I used to work in a call center where everyone had little cubicles. You could chat with people on either side or behind you if things got slow, but anyone on the other side of the divider was sorta hard to see or chat with. Only important because Karen was in this hard-to-see location for me. I have issues with overheating medical stuff. I like to sit right under the AC vent. Nobody fought me for this because it was a little too cold for most people. Apparently Karen wanted to take my place. She liked it and she wanted me out. She decided to tell everyone that I went to work without a bra. Karen makes a report to HR. HR woman and my direct supervisor parade me through the cubicles and into their office to question me about my bra. Now, I could have thrown a fit about this to begin with, since we didn't actually have a dress code and it's none of their business. They asked me to prove I was wearing a bra, so I showed them the straps. They told me good enough, basically, and to go back to my desk. I refused to go back. I said I needed to place a complaint about someone. They asked me who I was reporting. I said I don't know, but you do. I want to report whoever it was that's been staring at my breasts all day. Now that I know someone is staring, I feel like this is a hostile work environment. They acted like I was joking at first, until I said, if you don't have a talk with them, I'll go over your heads and report you for forcing me to reveal my bra to you. I got escorted back to my desk, and Karen was sitting there looking smug, until they escorted her to the HR office instead. I don't know what happened to her in the office and I didn't care. They did their part by having their talk with her. All I really wanted to know was who did it. Since it was a very slow day, all my coworkers started asking me what that was all about. Office gossip, you know? I told everyone exactly what had happened, and added that Karen must be fascinated with my breasts since she noticed. Everyone else confirmed they didn't even notice. When she came back from HR, every person in the room knew what she had done, and was glaring at her. Snitches didn't get stitches and didn't get fired either, but they got treated like the Karen they were. Nobody would talk to her. People would be chatting, see her come try to join the conversation and go silent and turn away from her. Some people did loud whispers and made comments like, "Shh, don't say anything, she'll report you." She quit about 2 weeks later. Edit. For those saying I should sue, this was about 7 years ago. The company no longer exists. I didn't sue them back because the company was pretty new, and they were new to their positions just like the rest of us, and in their 20s. They seemed like they were not trained on how to handle this, awkward and confused. I didn't want to ruin their lives over it. I don't think they'd ever do it again. For those saying she was jealous, I have no idea what she could have been jealous of. I was almost 40, gaining weight fast from my disability, and I'd say 4 out of 10. All I can think of is maybe she was jealous I was giggling with coworkers while trying to quietly play Cards Against Humanity. Karen really brought this upon herself. Who complains about somebody else's body like that? She's trying to make everyone feel uncomfortable just because she didn't get her way. But in the end, karma came to bite her where it hurts. Her reputation. This is a classic example of what happens when you mess with the wrong person. The whole office now knows what she did, and the way you Uno reversed Karen's complaint was a stroke of genius. I'm surprised HR didn't give you a standing ovation right then and there. Karen got roasted and we can all have a good laugh about it. She quit after just 2 weeks. This story is a great example of standing up for oneself and not letting someone else's negative behavior go unchecked. The last story is, wake me up at 4 a.m., enjoy the hungover sauna. I've been solo traveling the past 3 months in Southeast Asia. These past 3 months I've been staying in hostels and dorms with anywhere from 6 to 12 other random people, and have not had any issues with anyone. Sure, there have been times, people coming back late at night, people packing up early morning, and the occasional hookups. For the most part though, people try to be respectful and not disturb others while sleeping. This happened a couple weeks ago in the Philippines. I checked into a hostel and was put in an 8-person dorm room with a group of 7 guys. They were all doing some work program together and were taking a weekend trip. They go out the first night and come back at 4 a.m. and make a ton of noise, which was annoying, but I thought it would be a one-time thing. No. The next night they go out again and come back again at 4 a.m., but this time they make absolutely no effort to keep quiet. They were absolutely hammered. In fact, they turn on all the lights and they say to each other, "Haha, we're probably waking up that random in our room, but F him." I was peeved. Not only did they fully wake me up, but I also had to be up early the next morning and was really trying to get a good night's rest. A circus ensues for the next 2 hours, which included them playing music, having other people they worked with come in the dorm peeking behind my curtain into my bed saying, "Who the F is that?" Drunk wrestling, and them all taking showers at 5 a.m. One guy passes out in the shower with the door open, and their friends just leave him there like it was normal. Finally, I had enough. I aggressively jumped out of bed and told them all to STFU. This isn't the petty part. I went to the bathroom, grabbed the guy that was passed out drunk in the shower by his collar. He was still clothed, and threw his A into his bed with his clothes completely soaked. All the guys just looked at me stunned, and they can tell they just woke up a bull in a china shop. I then went and shut off all the lights and told them all to get their SH together. It was aggressive, but I was so mad at how inconsiderate these people were. I could hear them snickering at me in the dark after I had went off on them. Now to the petty part. I tried to sleep, but at that point my adrenaline was pumping, and there was zero chance of me getting another hour of shut-eye before I had to leave. So I started plotting my revenge. About an hour later, I hear everyone passed out snoring. It gets really hot and humid in the Philippines, so I go over and grab the controller to the room's AC and crank the heat all the way on high. Then I take the controller and throw it under the passed out guy's bed where it would be extremely hard to find. Next, I pull off the curtains off the sliding glass door. It was a removable cloth curtain. I didn't destroy the hostel and threw it under a different guy's bed. Finally, I start to get ready as loud as possible to return the favor to these drunk and hungover a-holes. I cannot describe the satisfaction I felt as I heard all the groans from these guys getting woke up early, as I turned on the lights and slammed the door shut on my way out. With the heat cranked up, the bright sunlight coming in, and no way to cool down, I knew these dudes were going to have one of the most miserable hangovers of their life. Enjoy the sauna and fresh sunlight, effers. For good measure, I went to the front desk of the hostel and let them know of the circus these guys had last night and requested that I change rooms because they were so rude. I came back later that day and was met by the manager of the hostel, who was super apologetic for what happened. Not only did he upgrade me to a private room for free, but he also let me know that he had thrown the guys out of the dorm for causing a ruckus and losing the remote curtain. I said to him, "Have you checked underneath the beds? They were throwing stuff around all night." They found the controller and curtain, thanked me for helping, and led me to my new room. Yeah, maybe I went a little far, and sure, you can call me the a-hole, but revenge had never felt so sweet. The thought of these guys sweating bullets in a heated, fully lit up room while being massively hungover has me smiling to this day. One thing to have a late night in a hostel, but it's entirely another to intentionally disturb others and show no remorse. The traveler's retaliation may have been extreme, but it's understandable given the circumstances. It's also impressive that OP was able to stand up for themselves and get the hostel staff to take action, ultimately resulting in an upgraded room. While revenge may not always be the best course of action, in this case it seems to have provided a much needed sense of justice. Thank you for watching. Bye.